In 1958, a historical event was created. The very first video game, Tennis for Two, was created using moving graphics on whatever the hell this is. Jump ahead 15 years and the famous game Pong was released, and boy did this set the world ablaze. Everyone was talking about this game. No one could stop talking about Pong. They always said, I love Pong! And then 5 more years later, the first popular home video game console, the Atari, was released to the public. And ever since then, every game company has tried creating the next big thing, the next big generational leap in gaming. This little company that you may have heard of, I don't know, called Nintendo, released the NES, saving the gaming industry with its innovation and actually making good games that were fun and not this bullshit. Going from 8-bit to 16-bit, wow gamers, and games definitely looked a whole lot better, but this isn't the future. Where's the next big thing? Where is the wow? That's actually possible? Up until this point in gaming history, flat was all that we knew. But when technology advanced to the point that we could play in a 3D rendered world with omnidirectional movement, it was game over. Or game start.
Stop!
I know. I'm sorry. I can't help it. After this beautiful thing called 3D was created, games looked futuristic, sure. But they controlled like shit. We still needed a game that was in 3D and was actually fun to control. Oh great, here comes this big bitch to save the gaming industry again. Stop innovating! Super Mario 64 to this day is still considered one of the best games ever made. Now that's what I call a generational leap. And all of this came out within a span of like 10 years. And the next thing came out and it looked and played a whole lot better. And then the next thing came out and yeah, that looks great for sure. That looks a whole lot better. And then the next thing came out, and then the next thing came out, and then the next thing came out. Yes, the games are controlling and looking a whole lot better, but where's the next big thing? Where's the next generational leap in gaming? Where's the next big generational, innovational, bicentennial Catalina wine mixer, baby? You're not serious, are you? When VR was first introduced, it seemed unreal. A machine in the present that fully immerses you in a video game? You strap this thing to your face and you are literally surrounded by that game? Impossible. This isn't the future. It's the I had a Power Rangers helmet toy when I was 5 that displayed simple figures in front of me moving, and I thought that was as good as VR would get. By the way, if anyone can find this thing, I would really greatly appreciate it. I looked for so long to find just one image of this toy, and I could not find it. This is insane. This is what the next step in gaming innovation is, right? This is, quote, the 2D to 3D step we were looking for. Well, no, actually. Not really. Not in the slightest. VR, in the grand scheme of things, is still sort of new and niche. Not a lot of people have a VR headset. Not a lot of people want one. And why? Because of this. VR is something that you cannot advertise well. Being on the outside, looking at recorded gameplay, looks kind of ridiculous, honestly. Unfortunately, VR is something that you have to experience yourself to get. And people don't want to spend $500 to experience something they may or may not like. I first experienced VR when I bought my Quest 2 in 2022 and played Super Hot. This was my next-gen wow moment. This was the coolest thing I had seen in a long time in gaming. Looking around in your physical space to only see the virtual world surrounding you, and anywhere you look, that is the game. Moving your hands in real life is moving the hands of the character you're controlling in real time. Punching the air punches the enemy in game, looking down the sights of a gun and pulling the trigger, shooting an enemy 50 feet away. This technology is genuinely incredible, and I'm surprised it even exists. A lot of people aren't gonna like this, but the first time I played Resident Evil 4, I played it in VR and beat the entire game in VR. This was my first time experiencing that game, and it was amazing. It was such an incredible experience. So why did I sell my Quest 2 right after I beat that game? I've been sucking off VR this entire time. Why isn't it booming? Why is it so niche? Why do so many games suck in it? Again, it's this. When swinging a weapon, punching, or grabbing something, in the game you're doing it, sure, but when you're just holding a controller and can't feel any resistance or texture, that's when your brain is like, oh, this shit is so fake, this sucks! And sometimes it's just plain frustrating. Playing games with physics-based weapons doesn't feel good at all, to me personally. I swing as hard as I can and it does this shit. Gotcha. So I have to slow down and break the immersion for the game to work. I'm out already. Nope. Sorry, I'm done. Now, horror is a whole new beast. When you can't escape it and anywhere you look, you just feel uncomfortable.
It's horrifying. You are trapped in this heart-pounding experience. Now, I am a little baby back bitch rib deluxe when it comes to horror. I cannot handle it. But this is that immersive next step I was talking about.
Oh shit, okay, nope, turn it around.
With other games though, being inside the headset is extremely isolating. If I was playing any other regular game, I would still be by myself, but the difference is that you can actually look around the real f***ing world. VR is supposed to be completely immersive, that's the point. But after playing it for a while, I personally feel too removed from the real world.
You are completely isolated from anything around you, which means if you have responsibilities like children, you can't really watch them while playing VR. If you have a dog that needs attention, if you have a cat that needs feeding, if you have anything that you need to do, you kind of have to take off the whole headset, put it down, go do what you need to, come back, and then immerse yourself again. It's not really practical. You are cut off. And then I just get this oogie googie icky feeling. And that was the whole reason I got rid of my Quest 2 in the first place. I could not stop shaking that feeling every time I played a game. Well, that and the fact that most Quest 2 games looked and ran like absolute shit fart. I already played everything that was considered good at that time. To really go all in VR and trick your brain to making you think that this is an immersive experience, you've got to make it look good, run good, and play good. I don't know if you've ever tried to play a VR game that looks and runs like shit, but good luck playing anything in VR that runs like Pizza Hut's chocolate pudding. I don't know if people knew that, but in my hometown, Pizza Hut did sell chocolate pudding and it was at the all-you-can-eat buffet bar. And it was bad. That's the joke. It was bad.
Good-looking VR unfortunately needs a $1,000 PC setup or $500 console, $500 headset, $50 to $100 cable in some cases, and that's not even including the cost of the game to look and run very well, which is why people go for the Quest 3. It's standalone, you don't need a cable, and most of the games look like a hot steamy pile of potato. This isn't the case for all games though, like the new release, Batman Arkham Shadow. It doesn't look like a PS5 or Xbox Series X game by any means, but I would say it's borderline Xbox 360, PS3 territory, which, hear me out. But for actually putting you in Batman's body, throwing his Batarang, using the Batclaw, and punching bad guys yourself, and it's actually good? Holy fucking shit. This is what I'm talking about. This is where things go from VR is kind of lame to this is clearly the next step for innovation. That and other games like Underdogs where you control a mech and the physics actually make sense, or Resident Evil 4 where you are put inside the GameCube game and can physically look and walk around the virtual world you saw on your TV when you were a kid. This is what developers need to focus on. New experiences are fantastic, and without it we wouldn't get these incredible games. But to hook new players and widen that customer base, you really need to drill into that nostalgic bone or make something that people already relate to and recognize. Put games like COD Zombies in VR, Spider-Man, Halo, Gears of War, San Andreas.
Too bad that never came out.
Killzone, Zelda, Metroid Prime. Throw all that shit in VR. But make it good, you know? Not just slop. Please, not just basic slop. I literally cannot handle any more bad VR games, please. The community is already doing this with some older games. It's incredible what people can do with their free time. These companies that have billions of dollars can do a way better job. And that's no punch to the people who are actually working on those projects. I can't even imagine how they're doing that. They're doing a great job. Just imagine what it would be like if major gaming companies actually put effort and money into these games.
Now, do I actually think that VR will be the next big thing for gaming? Not like this. If the headset was actually a pair of glasses and hand tracking was one-to-one accurate, and you could actually feel and grab things in the game without having all of this shit, maybe. I'll tell you what though, I really want one of those fucking VR treadmills. That looks awesome. All I know is that when I beat Batman VR, I went straight to playing games like Uncharted 4, Balatro, Mouthwashing, games that don't even give VR a fighting chance. And in some cases, I enjoy these games a whole lot more because it's just a different experience without being completely trapped and isolated. Now don't get me wrong, because playing good games in VR is an experience that I cannot even begin to describe. Batman was absolutely incredible. Not only did it have a good story, and it looked well too on the Quest 3, it ran beautifully, and it felt so good to punch bad guys as Batman. As great as Beat Saber, Underdogs, and Battle Glide are, in the end, they are just VR games. Games like Batman Arkham Shadow and Half-Life Aleks are probably the closest we'll get to bridging the gap between classified as just a VR game and more than that, right now at least. And not everything can be translated to VR. You still need that third-person perspective sometimes. And at least you can see the outside world around you. God, it's bright. VR is cool, but that's how most people see it right now. VR is just cool. But what the f do I know? I play Majora's Mask every year and talk about video games like I'm qualified or something. Just play what you want and have fun with it. Later! Ah! Ah! Ain't no pain, I'm gonna die in my wrist, in a lie, I won't sleep, all my money, on some shit, I don't want, ain't no